and try and make these claims online, and possibly we'll just do a video call with the doctor.
Hello. Right, so this guy here, over there, that I just stitched this with, he has pointed out that there's been an increase in claims each year for PIP, which that is the case. Yeah, absolutely. And he's wondering, well, why? So the key bit that I think he's missing there is, obviously we've had a pandemic, massive pandemic, so there's a massive backlog of claims that obviously didn't go through during that time, and they're just catching up with that backlog. Also, one of the key things that he has stated here that I've stitched at the beginning of this video is that he is kind of assuming that the claims system is going to your GP, getting on the phone, video call, hi, I've got ADHD, can I have some PIP please? That's absolutely not how it works. So I just want to clear up, set the record straight basically. My son's got ADHD, he's got autism, and he went through the claims procedure. It took 3 years to actually get a diagnosis, and at no point was a video call with the GP an option to get that diagnosis. Yes, we went to the doctor to get the original referral to go to something called the camhs, CAHMS, which is the mental health service, which is in a hospital local to us. So what you do is you get your referral. It takes several months to get that. Once you get onto the system, then they say, right, you're coming in for your tests. You get tested thoroughly, and I'm talking thoroughly. They put my son through some things that he didn't understand, bless him. He's only little, and it's, you know, when he looks back at the results, it was like, oh, why don't I get that? Why don't I understand that? You know, he was suddenly like, I do. He was like, I know there's something wrong with me, but there was, you know, a little bit of, I guess, embarrassment for him in some things, like, well, why did I take so long to answer that question? I answered it correctly, didn't I? It was like, yeah, but your brain took XYZ amount of time. Or when you rushed this answer because you thought you knew it was right, you got it wrong. And I'm not talking answers to basic questions. I'm talking answers about how would you feel about XYZ. You know, it's about how their brain is processing. So once they've gone through that test, there's another test further on after that, and then another test after that. And then once they've got through that, they then get passed on to a fully trained psychiatrist in specializing in, I guess, ADHD, autism, whatever it is, it would be whatever they've been tested for. And then the diagnosis comes from there. There is absolutely no video call with a GP just to get PIP. Okay? Am I being clear? Am I? I hope so. Okay, right. From the other things that he says in his video, there's a bunch of other things that I just don't agree with, because he's just wrong on every level. Apart from some of the statistics that have increased. But again, I'll go back to, there was a pandemic. That's probably the easiest answer there, right? Also, yes, he does touch on it. Diagnosis, whatever that word is, has got better. People are getting recognized, I guess, for having a mental health issue more than they were however long ago. So say go back a decade, decades, 3 decades ago, whatever. These were just the naughty kids. I know when I was at school, there were what you would regard as probably the naughty kids. But looking back now, you see, hang on a minute, no, there was something wrong with them. And they were clearly behind everybody else for a very good reason. And there was clearly no support for them back then. Now they have got supports. Now they've got financial support to be able to put in extra teachers at schools and things like that. So, yes, we've got a better assessment of and grasp of what's going on. If people think that these kids shouldn't get that support, well, you know what you can do? You can write off, yeah? These kids deserve every opportunity that kids that don't have issues have. Yep, they should be put on an equal pedestal. We need to give them every opportunity so that further down the line, in a couple of decades when they grow up, they have had the support when they're younger, so they can get a job. Yeah. So what you're doing is actually working for the future. The future generations will then be able to, support us when we're older with our pensions and stuff like that. It's pretty obvious long-term economics, and spend now, save later kind of thing. But there's so many people trying to rock the boat in not wanting to spend now. Can we afford it as a country? Well, yes and no. There's other areas that you could probably pull the plug on. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go down that route because I know that I will probably get inundated with people who are pro Britain, I guess. Everybody needs an equal, chance to do whatever they want to do. And yeah, let's look after our kids, basically. Mental health or not mental health issues. Let's give them the chances that we didn't have when we were younger. Simple as that. But yeah, as far as this bloke goes, a lot of stuff he's saying is not right. All right. Okay. Over and out. Run over for this morning.